Hey there. Okay, we're diving into growth mindset number 3, facts versus emotions. All right, and what I mean by this is when you're looking at just different things from a growth mindset perspective, right? Growth. You have to start being able to differentiate and separate out facts versus emotions, okay? Men typically tend to be a little bit better at this because they are just very factual, very data driven. It's, the facts are the facts, and that's all there is to it, really. But what I really mean by this, and let me give you an example, is I had a client who wanted to release a client, all right? And this was like her very first client, and she felt really kind of guilty about it. However, the work that she was doing was no longer in alignment with the growth of her business, right? And so she kept looking at it from a perspective of, yes, but she was my first one, and I really like her as a person, but I'm charging her so little, my prices have more than doubled, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing, facts are facts, emotions are emotions. You can still like somebody and be friends with them and have a personal connection to them, but the fact of the matter in this situation was this was no longer work that she was offering, that she wanted to continue offering in her business. Her offer suite has evolved, and she doesn't even enjoy this work anymore. Number 3, in order for her to grow and take on the clients that she wanted to, like, she couldn't possibly take on another client because she was spending so much time with this client, right? So fact of the matter is you can't even take on a new client because you have this one that's taking up your time at a lower rate, which, again, you know how I feel about that. But the reality is that it's emotions versus facts. Yes, we get emotional. Yes, we get emotionally attached to clients, but you have got to start taking the emotion out of it. It's no different when you're looking into investing into your business, when it looks into your time. Like, I had another client who said to me that she just kept questioning what she was doing, questioning what if, because she says to me, I value my time and my time is so limited, I don't want to waste my time. In the end, my response to her was, what else do you have to spend your time on, right? The fact is the facts that you don't have any, she was brand new into this segment of her business. She was starting something new. And so she didn't have any clients, right? Because this was a brand new offer. She was completely pivoting from what she was currently doing to this. So I said to her, the fact of the matter is you have nothing else to do but market your business. You don't have any admin work to do because you're not invoicing or, billing anybody or having to spend any time like looking at your expenses, etc. You don't have any client work to do. So the only thing you have to do, the fact of the matter is that the only thing you have to do right now is market your business. So in this case, there is nothing that is a waste of your time except for if you are scrolling social media aimlessly, right? But writing content, doing some trial and error, doing some A/B testing, all of that is the facts. You have to spend your time doing that in order to grow your business. Yes, there's an emotional piece to it because it was like, well, we all like doing client work. We like being on the back end. We like being in the creative mode. Okay, that's the emotional side of it, but you can't let your emotions take over. Even in the decision that I had to make to go to application only for my one-to-one, and also to really make that decision to cut back and put that cutoff of when I was going to stop taking on one-to-one clients for 2022, there was a huge step in the facts versus the emotion, okay? The emotional side of me was saying, yes, but you love coaching, and what if somebody comes to you in November, then what are you going to do? How are you going to handle this? Do you like this pressure? I mean, there was so many emotions around, like, who are you to put an application in process? What happened? Who are you to fill this, right? Like, all of these emotions start coming in, and like, Why would you go all in on the alliance? How are you willing to give up income if it's coming your way? All right. These are all just emotional. Again, back to the episode we did last week on fear-based response. It was false evidence appearing real, which most of the time our emotional response is fear-based. But the fact of the matter was that in order to grow the accelerated business alliance in the way that I wanted to, I only have so much time. The facts are the facts, right? Like I only have so much time and I can only spread myself so thin. And so I had to make that decision. And when you can completely lay out the facts versus the emotion, I had to do this recently too when I was looking at giving myself a raise through the S Corp. The accountant laid out the facts for me. There was so many emotions around it and whether or not it was the best decision. And there was all these emotions that bubbled up. But she laid it out and said, here's the facts. Here's what it looks like. This is the decision you have to make. This is standing in your role as CEO. Remember, there's always going to be emotion behind it. And I'm not saying to have a business that is completely unemotional or completely emotionally detached and not have any kind of personal feelings or anything of that sort. What I'm saying though is that when you are put into a situation where you have to make a decision for the growth of your business, you have to be able to separate out what is a fact versus what is an emotional response, right? What are the factual responses versus what are the emotional responses? Because the emotional responses tend to take over. They tend to cloud our thoughts. They tend to extremely limit our perspective and our point of view. But when you can, and this is really hard. This is really hard to do yourself. Like I said, this other client of mine, I mean, she was all wrapped up in the emotions of releasing this client. There's a lot of emotional baggage and just feelings and, guilt and all of these things that come up when you want to release a client. But having somebody else point out, like, you can't take on another new client because you are spending your time doing this. You are emotionally unavailable. Like, there's the fact of the matter was she was emotionally unavailable for anybody else and even emotionally unavailable to this client because anytime she would get to do her work, she was like procrastinating on it because it was work she no longer enjoyed. That's a fact, okay? If you don't enjoy something, you cannot do it well. It's just, that's the fact of the matter right there. And so having somebody on the outside looking in to help you move through some of these decisions is so crucial. This is obviously a great opportunity and why I feel so strongly about the rapid fire, because this is what I do with my mindset coach all the time. I send her a message and say, help me pull the emotion out of this, right? This is a mindset issue. We all go through them, and you have to have somebody that can help you pull through and look at what is the actual data. I really thrive on data. What is the data telling you versus what are you emotionally attached to? And you have to be able to separate those. So what I would really encourage you to do is either keep a note in your phone or grab a sheet of paper or go into your journal and divide your piece of paper down in half, all right? And then I want you to write at the top of it fact, and on the other side, I want you to write emotion, okay? And when you're faced with a tough decision, especially, I'm sure all of you are faced with some kind of decision right now, and even if you do this for practice, like even if it's an easy decision or even if it's a decision that you've already worked through, what are the facts and what are the emotions? And lay it out and really look at it. And then you can compare, and then you have a solid foundation to help you make an educated decision, not an emotional decision, all right? Emotional decisions almost always hinder your growth. They don't always help your growth, unless, of course, it's like a decision to trust your gut because you're seeing red flags. Again, obviously, but even that with red flags and there's emotional, there's usually some kind of facts that are pointing to that. So anytime you're faced with that, I want you to just remember, just take a minute to practice this. Fact, what are the facts? What are the emotions? And separate them out and really look at it, and then take a minute to kind of digest it and reflect on it so that you can, again, come to an educated decision. And of course, if you can't do that, or you don't want to do it on your own, or you find like it's going to cause you more stress than just making the decision, obviously, that's where I come in to play. All right. This is where the rapid fire coaching comes in 100%. So please, if you're interested in that, apply for the rapid fire coaching. I would love to help you be this voice of reason, because almost daily or weekly, there is going to be some decision that you're making, especially if you're in a stage of growth where you're going to have to separate out and differentiate the two. All right. And this is very, very important to the growth in your mindset, right? This is stepping into the role of CEO of your business. You are a business owner. This is no longer just a hobby. This is no longer just your side project. This is no longer just a passion. You are a business owner, and business owners sometimes have to make really hard decisions based on facts that are presented to them. All right. You cannot continue to just operate in a state of emotion, because 90% of the time, the emotions, like I talked about in the last one, are going to be fear-based, because fear is what we always resort to keep us safe. It keeps us in our comfort zone. It keeps us in a place of, that nice, soft, cushy comfort and our safe space. But the safe space is not where you grow. Just remember that. All right. So don't forget, if you want to opt in and dive a little bit deeper into some growth mindset shifts, click the link in my bio, in the show notes, because there is a freebie in there, your growth mindset cheat sheet. It's there for you. So please, please, please take a look at it and opt into it and let me know. And if you do this exercise, let me know, fact versus emotion, and let me know how it helps you. Real quick reminder, if you want to dive deeper into some of these growth mindset shifts, I have a free growth mindset cheat sheet that is linked in the show notes that you can hop on, grab your journal, start taking notes, and dive into and really work on these mindsets. So be sure to click the link below and grab the free cheat sheet.